Inspiration opens your heart. It keeps fear away. Inspiration heals emotional wounds. It empowers and motivates us. It gives us strength and courage. Inspiration is an individual and personal experience. However, there are many things that affect us collectively that inspire us, so we can all relate to. Everyone loves a baby. There are very few people on the planet that don't melt when they see a baby. There are certain songs that we relate to that inspire us. And we don't know when inspiration is going to happen. And we usually often don't know what inspires us. And because we're the same but different every day, the same thing may not always inspire us. I wanted to discuss inspiration because it's so powerful. I want to share with you that we don't have to wait for inspiration to happen. We can inspire ourselves by seeking out inspiration and putting ourselves in an environment that inspires us, or by bringing the things into our environment that inspire us. So we know, as students of the science of mind, that your experiences not only influence and program and reprogram your subconscious mind, and that's what our life is created out of, the beliefs and experiences in our subconscious mind, but our experiences are also creating an energetic imprint. And this energetic imprint resonates and influences us. And so I have a very close sister friend who had a birthday, and I didn't have any money. And I really wanted to give her a special gift. And so I sent her a book. And yesterday, when I'm writing the talk, she calls me to talk to me about the book. It is a book that has had, like so many books, a profound effect on my life. And I'm going to be sharing some things from it in just a few moments. But one of the things that she and I talked about is morphic resonance. And so there's a scientist by the name of Sheldrake, and he created this theory of morphic resonance and did experiments to prove it. And what he says is, and we know this, there's an invisible energetic field around and within material objects. We know that because we know that all is one, and that the substance, the energy, the power and presence of spirit expresses in and through everything. Even though we live in a world of what appears to be separate forms, it's not separate, and it's all one, and it's all the energy, the substance of spirit. And so he did experiments to prove this. And I mention this because I want to really bring home how important what I'm about to share with you is, and how you can empower yourself and empower your life with it. And so I would recommend to you that you find things, that you focus on things, that you spend time with things that make your heart sing as often as possible. Bring those things, put those things into your energetic field, into your atmosphere. I want to share an example with you of this. And it comes from an experience that I had. So a few years ago, I had the blessing of being able to travel to China. And one of the things that I really wanted to do was go to the Forbidden City. I had learned about the Forbidden City at some time in my life when I was young, and I was, of course, fascinated by it. And I'm there, I'm overwhelmed. This place is enormous, and I'm overwhelmed, and I'm just looking at things, and I was tired. And I said, okay, I'm gonna leave I'll try and come back tomorrow. And as I was leaving, I happened to meet this man who offered to explain things to me. He asked me how I liked it. And I said, I wish I knew the stuff behind some of the things. And he offered to explain things with me. And tired as I was, I jumped at the opportunity and I went back into the Forbidden City with him. And one of the things he shared with me was the 5 bridges. And I'm just going to share my screen for a moment. So these are the 5 bridges at the Forbidden City, okay? And the reason that these bridges are important and that I wanted to share them with you is because this is a powerful example of bringing something into your atmosphere that is going to empower you. So these bridges actually represent the 5 virtues that Confucius taught about at the time. And the emperor, in an effort to remember these virtues and honor these virtues, had these 5 bridges built, which I just thought was the absolute coolest thing. Okay, I'm gonna actually stop sharing and pray that it lets me in again. so so the 5 virtues were humanity, the sense of duty, wisdom, safety, and the observance of the ceremonial. Now, they're translated in different ways, so I'm going to share those with you also because I want to create the full picture. Benevolence, righteousness, rights, intelligence, and fidelity. And they were placed symbolically, and only certain people were allowed to cross them based on their hierarchy within the Forbidden City. So this is just an example of how you can take something that's meaningful to you and bring it into your environment and allow it to influence you. And so what I know is that images inspire us. Music inspires us. Poetry inspires us. I'm going to be sharing some ideas and quotes that are inspiring. Dance inspires us. Smells inspire us. I absolutely love the smell of sweetgrass. And as a teenager, there was a certain road that I went down that I would just stand there. I've never smoked a joint in my life, but it was like I was getting high off off of the smell of sweetgrass. It was just so beautiful. So I'm going to be sharing my inspirations with you this morning, because inspiration is a personal thing, and that's what Spirit brought to me to do. And so one of the things that I had to be very careful of was copyrights. So I'm going to share quotes with you. You know, I wanted to share music, but because of copyrights, I had to be careful about that. And then I'm going to also share with you some images, some photographs that I took in a poem that I just hope really inspires you. So my first quote is from Kevin Aucoin, and he said, "Today I choose life. Every morning when I wake up, I can choose joy, happiness, negativity, pain, to feel the freedom that comes from being able to make mistakes and choices. Today, I choose to feel life, not to deny my humanity, but to embrace it." So this is important to me because when I wake up in the morning, these kinds of reminders are very useful. The next quote I'm going to share with you is by E. Cummings. Now, when I was young, I went to high school, and the first day I was in high school, I was very uncomfortable. I was by myself, and I walked into this classroom, and in the classroom, I'm dating myself now. The teacher, the nun, had a border around around the room, and the border had the poem from Cummings, and I love that poem, and it made me feel comfortable and at ease. And when I came into CSLNJ for the first or second time, Beth was singing this poem, and it was a signal to me that I was in the right place. I thank you, God, for most this amazing day, for the leaping greenly spirits of trees and the blue true dream of sky, and for everything which is natural, which is infinite, which is yes. The next thing I want to share with you that deeply inspires me is the work of Masaru Emoto. Masaru Emoto was a man who did experiments that proved that water has the ability to copy and memorize information. So you talk about morphic resonance. This is an incredible thing. He stress the fact that human beings are 90% water when we're born, and that gradually as we age, we have less and less water in our bodies. But the fact that we are so much of water tells how water and the things that influence us and impact our body. So what he did was he took water from different places at first, and he froze it and formed crystals, and he looked at the crystals under a microscope, and he found some amazing things. He did all kinds of tests. So he attached notes to water with different ideas, and then froze it and formed crystals, and saw that the ideas impacted the crystals and the shape of the crystals. He played music, different kinds of music, classical music, hard rock, acid rock, and froze the water and showed the crystal. And he showed that like dirty water barely formed crystals, or gave a deformed crystal, that things form beautiful crystals, and other things only have crystals that weren't so pretty. And he spoke to the water, he spoke words of love, he yelled at it, and then formed crystals. And I want to read to you. My friend and I were discussing this. She actually called me to tell me that this was the most beautiful part that she had read so far. He says, I have mentioned that water shown the words love and gratitude form the most beautiful crystals. Of course, the word love alone has the ability to create wonderful crystals, but love and gratitude combine to give the crystals a unique depth and refinement, a diamond-like brilliance. I also discovered that the love and gratitude crystals actually look more like gratitude crystals than the love crystals. What this indicates is the gratitude vibration is more powerful and has more influence. Love tends to be a more active energy, the act of giving oneself unconditionally. By contrast, gratitude is a more passive energy, a feeling that results from having been given something. Knowing that you have been given the gift of life and reaching out to receive it joyously with both hands. What is the relationship between love and gratitude? For an answer to this question, we can use water as a model. A water molecule consists of 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom represented by H2O. If love and gratitude, like oxygen and hydrogen were linked together in the ratio of 1 to 2, gratitude would be twice as large as love. We must begin by learning what it means to have enough, to feel gratitude for having been born on a planet so rich in nature, and gratitude for the water that makes our life possible. If you open your eyes, you will see that the world is full of so much that deserves our gratitude. When you have become the embodiment of gratitude, think about how pure the water that fills your body will be. When this happens, you yourself will be a beautiful, shining crystal of light. You've heard me say before that one of my favorite authors is Richard Bach, so I would like to quote him. Your only obligation in any lifetime is to be true to yourself. And also one of my favorites, argue your limitations, and sure enough, they're yours. From Maya Angelou, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And something that offered a lesson for me from Maya Angelou and gave me clarity and put things in perspective. When someone shows you when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Whew. Once I finally learned that, it has saved me so much trouble and pain. Another favorite author of mine is James Baldwin. And there are so many things that I could talk about with Mr. Baldwin, but they are so deep and would take up so much time that I chose this quote because it was a sobering lesson for me. He said, "Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced." And from Albert Einstein, I think the most important question facing humanity is the universe a friendly place? This is the first and most basic question all people must answer for themselves. For if we decide that the universe is an unfriendly place, then we will use our technology, our scientific discoveries, and our natural resources to achieve safety and power by creating bigger walls to keep out the unfriendliness and bigger weapons to destroy all that which is unfriendly. And I believe that we are getting to a place where technology is powerful enough that we may either completely isolate or destroy ourselves as well in the process. Albert Einstein is a person that's been important to me, not just because of his genius and his scientific discoveries, but because he was in touch with spirit. He knew, he said, there's something more, and it's everywhere. He also was friends with Paul Robeson at a time that was very unpopular. And he just stood for what he believed in. He also said, the world is a dangerous place to live, not because of the people who are evil, but because of the people who don't do anything about it. So he was definitely a person that stood for his beliefs and social justice. And now I want to share a little bit about the inspired and unstoppable guru herself, Tama Kieves. I was blessed with meeting her. Reverend Joel brought her to our center years ago, and I have been involved with her in some of her classes and workshops and her life tribe for many years now. And she is absolutely a source of inspiration for me, and I appreciate her. She's written some amazing books. This Time I Dance, Inspired and Unstoppable, A Year Without Fear, Thriving Through Uncertainty. And she loves quotes. When she does workshops, she always uses quotes. And so now I'm quoting her. Tamakiv says, you can't judge people and touch their souls at the same time. You can live a life of either trusting your inner voice or distrusting your inner voice. You can cling to familiar expectations, conventions, and reasonable responses, or you can listen to the sweet madness in your bones. When you're in transition, you will need to find a different kind of security. It's not one of labels, guarantees, or bank balances. It's guidance, the directions of your own inner voice. Moment by moment, you know what to do. You are safer than ever before. And another person that's had an impact on my life years ago, Alan and Reverend Cheryl did a Julia Cameron Artist Way workshop. And that workshop at the center, again, completely changed and enriched my life. It allowed me to start drawing, and then Bill, years later, offered to teach, and he empowered many of us at the center. Julia Cameron says, I surrender my anxiety and my sense of urgency. I allow God to guide me in the pacing of my life. I open my heart to God's timing. I release my deadlines, agendas, and stridency to the gentle yet often swift pacing of God. As I open my heart to God's unfoldings, my heart attains peace. As I relax into God's timing, my heart contains comfort. As I allow God to set the tone and schedule of my days, I find myself in the right time and place, open and available to God's opportunities. Now, I knew that there was a connection between the word inspire and spirit. So I looked up the etymology of the words. And the word inspire is from the Latin inspire, which means to breathe or blow into, and into breath. The word was originally used of a divine supernatural being. In a sense, it imparts a truth or an idea to someone. And the word spirit comes from almost the same word, spirare, which means breath. And so my experiences when I am inspired, my breath is affected and I experience the presence of God. And so I just wanted to share that. Julia Cameron says, art is an act of the soul, not the intellect. When we are dealing with people's dreams, their visions, really, we are in the realm of the sacred. We are involved with forces and energies larger than our own. We are engaged in a sacred transaction of which we know only a little, the shadow, not the shape. And so to close, I'm going to, I didn't share the crystal with you. I apologize. I didn't show you the crystal. I wanted to show you the crystal of love and gratitude. So give me just a moment here. And I'm going to attempt to share my screen again. I wish I could like do a whole little thing on the messages in water, but I just have to just suggest that you just get the book and you can see all the crystals for yourself. But here is the crystal of love and gratitude. Isn't it amazing? He did this from water and from expressing love and gratitude in water. The crystals are so powerful and so beautiful if you look. I mean, I'm just so grateful to this man for the work that he did. Just absolutely beautiful. Okay. And so now, lastly, I'm going to share a slideshow with you that I did along with a poem that I wrote. And again, I had to be concerned about copyright. So that's why I just said I better do it myself. Okay. And so the images that you're about to see are just pictures that I took in my day to day, whatever I was doing, just, meandering around the planet. And I saw things that touched me, that affected me, that I thought were beautiful. I always say that I try and collect beauty, and I'm so grateful that I see so much beauty around me. And I just thought it was a really good example of how inspiring yourself can really empower you and make a difference in your life and feed you and put you in an energetic field. That's that spirit. So the babies smile at me with their whole soul from the depths of their being. I am helpless. They radiate pure love, touch my heart, and open it. I melt, feeling such joy and gratitude. In my day to day, I walk my way and am blessed with gifts along my path. Water flows and skips over the rocks in the brook near my home, reflecting the world back to itself. Shadows that express depth and substance beneath the blue sky and white clouds. There are monuments along the way, some man-made juxtaposed to the ones that nature designed. But everywhere creativity expresses as something inspired through man or nature. My world is filled with beauty, with colors that burst with excitement, whisper love poems, and sing songs of possibility. The world is alive with color in blooming trees, flowers, mineral clusters, falling leaves preparing for snow. Magnolias, cherry blossoms, tulips, roses, and ice crystals that capture the intentions of the invisible one. God creates, man mimics God. I honor and am grateful for the gifts: a flower bed, a water sculpture, drawings, paintings, music, song and dance, the rainbow, for ideas expressed. There is an energy that radiates from the sand. A spiritual mist rises from the sea. It touches the horizon and paints the sky with crimson and gold streamers. Metallic puffs of clouds glow above me. I gasp in awe. My heart smiles and knows that I am not alone. I feel the presence and bliss. So let's take this into treatment. So in this moment, I just acknowledge the power and presence that I call God. I am in awe. I am in awe of the thing called life that this power and presence has created. I am in awe of the fact that I am a part of it and that it expresses in and through me, as me, by means of me and each one. And I am so grateful. I am grateful for the opportunity to create. I am grateful for the opportunity to experience others' creations. I am grateful for the opportunity to grow, to expand, to dream, to reach, to allow the power and presence to express greater and greater possibility by means of me. I'm grateful for the love, for the joy. I'm grateful for the impact of music. I am grateful for the impact of the ocean. I am grateful for the expression of love that is reborn in a baby every single time. I am grateful for this life. I am grateful for knowing the truth. I am grateful for this expression. I have no words. And so I simply release this into the law, knowing that it is the divine presence that I call God expressing continuously, infinitely, endlessly. And I am so grateful for this. Please close with me. And so it is.